It's good to have you with us. I'm Daniel Choy with this Sunday evening's edition of Arirang News. Japan is expected to reassert its claim to the Korea-controlled Dokdo Island this week, which could send bilateral relations between two countries into another tailspin. Local media reported Sunday, quoting a government official, that Japan is expected to make the claim in a diplomatic report and annual review of textbooks due out this week. The official said Korea will firmly respond to provocations from Japan over the island. Korea reclaimed sovereignty over Dokdo after its independence from Japan back in 1945. And a second shipment of Russian coal from North Korea could arrive in South Korea as early as later this month. But there are still some kinks to be worked out before the so-called Najin-Kasan project can get off the ground. Our Connie Kim reports.
A trilateral trade pact between the two Koreas and Russia is expected to gain momentum with the second trial run of the joint railway project as early as this month. A government official told local media that the date is being arranged with Korean and Russian business officials, and the test run will get underway by no later than May. The so-called Najin-Kasan project was proposed in 2013 to facilitate economic cooperation among the three countries. The coal will be transported from Russia's border town of Hasan to the North Korean port city of Najin via a 54-kilometer cross-border railway. It'll then be shipped to South Korea's southeastern port city of Pohang, the home of the country's largest steelmaker, POSCO. The first trial run took place in November with more than 40,000 tons of coal on one ship. This time, twice the amount of coal will be transported on two ships. Also, officials are planning to bring in coal from a Russian mine that is closer to Najin, cutting the distance by more than half. But there are concerns about the timing of the second trial. Officials had originally planned the second trial for January or February to ensure frozen coal could be transported from rail to ship, but disagreements over the date caused a delay.
To operate in the winter, there needs to be more investment in thawing equipment and more investment to generate profit.
The project is the first part of President Park Geun-hye's Eurasia Initiative for construction of a new Silk Road railway connecting the Korean peninsula, China, and Russia. Connie Kim, Arirang News.
Korea and China will conduct a second joint inspection of fishing boats operating in shared waters in the West Sea, following an agreement made last year. The Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries says as many as 2,000 Chinese ships operate in the joint fishing zone during the high season, but a large number of them are believed to violate Korea's exclusive economic zone at night or in high waves when a crackdown is difficult. Ships from both countries can operate in the joint fishing zone without having to report to the other government under a bilateral agreement reached back in 2001. Illegal fishing by Chinese ships has become a source of diplomatic tension between the two countries on several occasions, with lives lost on both sides during raids by the Korea Coast Guard. For the first time ever, a Korean diplomatic mission has been set up on a warship at sea amid the growing security concerns in conflict-hit Yemen. According to the Joint Chiefs of Staff on Sunday, the interim mission was opened on the Navy destroyer Hwanggun, operating on waters off the Gulf of Aden to support 23 remaining Korean residents who opted to stay in the country following Seoul's recent evacuation of its people. 13 Koreans, including 2 embassy employees, have been evacuated from Yemen so far. The Hwanggun destroyer has been a part of international efforts to protect ships passing through the Gulf of Aden from pirates since early 2009. There's good news for Korea's shipbuilding industry, as Korean shipbuilders' orders for the first quarter have ranked first in the global market. According to Clarkson Research Services on Sunday, it's the first time in 3 years that Korea has outperformed China in first quarter figures. Korean shipbuilders won orders of more than 2.3 million compensated gross tons, which is 41% of the global market share, followed by Japan and China. This injects a ray of hope into Korea's shipbuilding industry, which was hit hard last year due to falling global oil prices. These days, when you have the latest gadgets out there, it needs to do more than just function at optimal level. You need an eye-catching design to attract consumers, so more and more IT companies are turning to the fashion world to market their products. The latest gadgets recently jumped onto the runway, and as our Kwon So-wha tells us this report, there's so much to look forward to.
Smartphones on the runway? That's right. Before their official global launch on April 10th, Samsung Electronics Galaxy S6 and Galaxy S6 Edge made a noticeable appearance at Seoul Fashion Week. The designs and colors for the clothing on display at the show were created with inspiration from the gadgets. Here, the phones aren't being presented as mere accessories, but as a must-have fashion necessity.
We hope that the combination of IT products and fashion will give customers an opportunity to see the design for the Galaxy S6 in a fresh way.
Fashion is becoming a key element in the IT sector, with wearables like smartwatches crossing into the realm of high-end fashion. LG Electronics and Apple have both put more effort into the look of their new smartwatches to make them more eye-catching and wearable on a daily basis, not a fad to be tucked away after a short time.
These days, IT companies have to embrace what their regular customers' fashion values regarding style and design are.
Industry watchers say the heavy emphasis on fashion in the IT sector will continue, with companies marketing their products as must-have items for the fashion-conscious consumer in order to spur demand for the newest smart devices. Kwon So-ah, Arirang News.
On a more somber note, Malaysia, rattled by two major aviation disasters, is hit by another transport tragedy. On Saturday, a helicopter crashed in a rubber plantation in the town of Semenyih, Kuala Lumpur, taking the lives of all 6 people on board. Among those killed were Azlin Alias, the Malaysian Prime Minister's Chief of Staff, and Jamaluddin Jajis, a Malaysian lawmaker and former ambassador to the United States. A witness to the accident told Malaysia's Bernama news agency that the helicopter exploded in midair during heavy rain, with the debris, tail and blades thrown all over the place. An investigation into the cause of the crash is ongoing, and Prime Minister Najib Razak has promised no stone will be left unturned. Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta says his administration will respond in the severest way possible after a bloody attack by al-Shabaab militants took 148 lives. In a nationally televised address on Saturday, Kenyatta said his administration would fight terrorism to the end. A Kenyan official said 5 people have been arrested on suspicion of involvement in that attack, which took place at Garissa University. According to the SIT, or Site Intelligence Monitoring Group, the attack was in retaliation for killings carried out by Kenyan troops fighting the rebels in Somalia. The Somalia-based Islamic extremist group warned Saturday of more attacks in Kenyan cities. Moving on to other stories, it's no secret that breastfeeding is beneficial to both baby and mother, but a team of local doctors have found that colostrum, the milk mothers produce just before and after birth, can be a lifesaver for premature babies. Our Won Ji-hyun tells us more.
Born at just 28 weeks and weighing slightly less than 1 kilogram, this baby has been in intensive care since birth. But thanks to recent research carried out at Seoul National University Hospital, this little one's chances of survival were much higher. The researchers discovered that colostrum can significantly improve preemie immunity. Colostrum is the breast milk that mothers produce in the days leading up to birth and for the week following the baby's arrival. Using this milk, the team conducted a blind test on 2 groups of extremely premature babies, all born before 28 weeks. One group of infants got a small amount of colostrum dabbed inside their mouths since they were too immature to suck or swallow. The doctors repeated the process but with sterile water for the other group. In just 1 week, the immunity of babies who were given colostrum was almost 3 times stronger than the babies who received water.
We put the colostrum inside the baby's mouth so the mucous membrane can directly absorb the antibodies in the mother's milk. This activates the lymphatic system, which can improve the baby's overall immunity.
The study also revealed that colostrum can reduce the baby's risk of developing infections or inflammation like clinical sepsis by half. The doctors hope to expand their research to help more premature infants get a strong start in life. Won Ji-hyun, Arirang News.
And now the weather. It's high time to visit places in Korea with trails of cherry blossom trees, but the rain and nippy weather has been a significant dampener. It's 9 degrees Celsius cold on Monday morning, and some drizzles expected to continue early in the day. Now let's check out the weather conditions outside of Korea around the world. And that's all from us for now. We do have more coming your way at 10 p.m. Korea time, so do join us then. For now, thank you for watching.